On his first visit, Kieran suspected the bricks were handmade, so has returned with an expert. Tony Mugridge has been making bricks by hand in the traditional way for 36 years, so is an incredible link to the 18th century brickmaker.
So Tony, what can you tell us, looking in detail at the brick, about the kind of people who were making this house and the techniques they were using?
Everything. The bricks are like a fossil of 1780s life. You've got grass marks here. This shows it was made in the summer, this brick. You've got an autumn mark there with that leaf. These marks here are what are called skink or hack marks. And it shows that when the bricks were made, the next bricks on the top would be put on in line, but with a finger space between.
I see, and these marks are the gaps between the bricks to allow air to circulate to dry the bricks.
Yeah.
And they're pretty chunky fingers.
They are very chunky fingers because you have to allow for the shrinkage of the brick as well. So when this brick was made, it was 10% bigger, and it shrunk in drying and it shrunk in firing. So there's my fingers. Now I've got small fingers anyway, but there's my fingers, and you can see that's about the same size as my fingers. But his hands were 10% bigger than mine.
Right, right. So he was a big guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And we see some smaller marks here too.
I believe that's a child. A child has spaced those out, which shows that the brickmaker is employing children. He's employing his own children.
A tax on bricks was introduced in 1784, which resulted in their standardisation. As these were handmade, it tells us Rock Farm was definitely built before that date. There's even evidence that there was more than one craftsman involved.
And the way I can tell you that is by the size of the brick. Every brickmaker would have his own mould. It'd be registered with that mould. That was his brick size. This is a long brick here, but if you look here, this is a short one. So this is not just a typical Georgian house. This is a very important, large estate house, if you like, a big house where it needed 2 brickmakers at least working on it, maybe 3, and with all their families. So this would be a big communal job just before the brick tax. It's like, it's like the end of an era.
Tony has been able to paint an extraordinary picture of the process involved in creating Rock Farm. But as he heads off, the old barn butted up against it catches his eye.
There's a strange building on the side here, isn't it? An extension. Yeah,
this relationship is a complete mystery, this weird 45-degree angle.
Oh, yeah, it's much older, yeah. This is one of them all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Tudor, this is Henry Tudor stuff.
Yeah. So, Tony, this building's a mystery to us.
Well, it's really very exciting, this building, because this building, I can tell you straight away, predates the Georgian building. It's the size is the giveaway straight away. They're narrow. These are 16th or even perhaps 15th century bricks.
Wow, so these could be 600 years old, 500-600 years old, these bricks. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we're talking about a building that probably predates Hampton Court Palace.
That's a lot older than we expected to find. What does that tell us about this building? I mean, did they make cow sheds out of brick in that era?
No. This building was state-of-the-art. This is the most prestigious building you could possibly have. This isn't like a timber-framed house. This is saying, I don't need timber, I can have brick.
So there's no way that this was a farm building then?
No.
So you're saying that this is, you know, a fragment of an older house, or?
I'd be very comfortable to say this is either a complete older house or it is just part of an older house. You've got a very important structure.
Really extraordinary.
So somebody with a lot of money has put this building here. You can see the original erection.
With this revelation, a whole new investigation into the importance of Alex and Martin's property can begin. Since discovering the old building, Tony Mugridge has thought of little else.
It's been preying on my mind. I make bricks, so while I've been making bricks, I've been thinking about that maker. So I've been investigating. I just got carried away. It got worse and worse, and I spent the last 2 or 3 days without any sleep, because I can't sleep, because all I'm thinking of is, who is that person? Who is that person? Yesterday afternoon, I got it.
Finally, we have some answers about the old barn that sat unnoticed next to Martin and Alex's house for generations.
Without doubt, Robert Bird has to be the brickmaker for that. The bricks are his mould size. The way the bricks are made are the same as bricks which we know were made by him in other places. There's no doubt at all that this man made the bricks for Rock Farm. He was a contemporary of the King's brickmaker. He worked with him, he was one of his business partners. That suddenly makes it a really, really exciting project. And it certainly shows that the Great Farm is probably one of the most important buildings in the country, never mind just locally.
Robert Bird was a master brickmaker, listed as working in the area in the second half of the 15th century. He would have lived on site with his family as the structure was taking shape. Thanks to a lifetime of expertise, Tony suspects it was built around 1490. He even has a theory on what it was.
The building at the Great Farm is a kitchen block. In other words, it pretty well just contains a huge fire grate and rooms above for storage. It's the kitchen block for a large country house. That's probably a manor house or something like that. The kitchen block has to be separate from it because in that period, in the 15th and 16th centuries, it was very common for houses to go up in flames because the kitchens were part of the houses.
So the brick barn is the last remnant of a once grand Tudor timber house, built by one of Britain's finest brickmakers, and is a discovery of national importance.